Is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 actually like really worth switching to over an iPhone? Hi, my name is Pete, and before we get started, I actually need a haircut, so... Right, let's crack on. Hi, my name is Pete, and I have been an iPhone user for way too long, and I own pretty much every Apple product ever made, but I didn't upgrade my phone last year, and I'm not sure I will this year. Because, well, in this series of lifelong iPhone user switches, I find myself becoming even more interested in Android, like every time I pick up a new phone. Now this time it is the Galaxy Z Fold 3, and I've been using it now for about a week, and I wanted to try this out because I wanted to know, can I actually switch from an iPhone to one of these weird new like foldable phones, or is it just a gimmick that doesn't actually work in the real world? So first I'm going to tell you what I love about this phone, and then I'm going to tell you about what I don't love, and answer the question of will I actually be switching my iPhone to this thing? Because, well, actually, and spoiler alert, it's actually quite a mixed experience. So this is the Samsung Z Fold 3, which is their third generation of foldable smartphones. You still get the display on the front screen, but open it up, and of course you get a beautiful, large, like tablet-like experience. Now both of these screens are 120 Hz. You get a fingerprint reader on the side, along with the usual like face unlock. It has an under-screen camera, more on that in a moment. And whilst it doesn't come with it, you can also use this with a special Fold Edition pen, where the nib retracts to stop you actually like scratching the screen. And when I ordered this phone, it came with a free pack, which had a charger, because this phone doesn't come with a charger, this case, and the pen, which conveniently fits into the case. Though I'll have to admit, I'm not really a pen kind of person, so it's just really sat there in the case. Now, in terms of the positives around this phone, and it does have plenty, and of course, most of it with this phone is going to be around that screen and the display, and that huge 120 Hz display, which is genuinely, honestly, it's really great. And I love what Samsung have done with it in terms of using, you know, a single app full screen and with like multitasking with two apps open side by side. And this actually made a lot of the initial setup of the phone really easy, with say using half the screen to keep one password open for like a quick copy and paste onto the other screen with like whatever app that I was setting up for the first time. And actually this is the second Android phone where one password has been pretty flawless with working. I think I must be kind of figuring my way around the Android system now. I also love the thought that's gone into making some apps make best use of the screen real estate, like when using the camera. And speaking of the camera app, that and other apps also adapt to this like half folder mode really nicely, where you can get to all the settings and preview images below, but see the live image at the top. And over in apps like YouTube, you can be watching, say, a YouTube video whilst independently using the lower part of the screen to scroll through like comments and browsing other videos. Like, absolutely love that design feature. Now, I also love what they're trying to do here with the under-screen front-facing camera. It is a little bit odd and the picture quality isn't the best, but it's actually quite nice when watching full-screen videos, or even in some apps where you don't notice this pinhole camera or a notch. It is still early days, but it's still pretty cool. Now that screen also means you can have way more apps and widgets and just be able to see more stuff without having to scroll. So also really love that. And then lastly, on the screen, I did wonder if the area where it folds will like annoy me over time, but actually no. I mean, it's definitely noticeable. You do see it and see the indent of the screen, but in day-to-day actual usage, it didn't put me off one bit. Now, other things to love about the Fold, and specifically Android in general, if you are thinking of switching away from Apple like me, it is the pure ability to customize literally everything on this phone. I mean, if iPhone has like an app for that, then Android has a setting for that. You know, want to change the layout of your home screen with how many icons or rows? You can, or add widgets, but ones you can actually, again, customize. You can. You can even use different launchers, which are like kind of different operating systems, like Nova Launcher, and many others to really customize things, like say, swiping up on one app will launch a completely different app. Really handy, and there is genuinely just so much you can do with these phones, and I can see why the hardcore Android fans hate the iPhone due to its like walled garden approach of locking everything down. In this instance, and specifically with the Fold 3, there are some significant drawbacks, some very significant drawbacks in my experience. So here goes, and I'm already going to say sorry to those already heading down to the comment section below. I can hear you.
Oh, he doesn't know how to use an Android. What a loser. He's such an Apple sheep.
Yep, you are right. I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm just a boy standing in front of an Android phone asking it to make sense. So please go easy on me, and if there are fixes for any of these issues, then let me know, and maybe we can all get educated whilst watching this video. Let's talk problems. First up, crashing apps. What the heck is with, I don't think it's with Android, but I think it's with this phone, But I'd be going around my normal day using it normally, and multiple times I'd have apps crash on me whilst using them. Like, no reason, no rhyme, just boom, crash, gone, then fire it back up and it carries on like nothing's happened. It's like my 5-year-old eating all the chocolate from the fridge and then asking me if he can have some chocolate. And yes, we do keep it in the fridge because that's where it should be. Second problem, the German language. Now, I have nothing wrong with the German language. I actually took German at school. Ich habe meinen Weimappen verloren. Was that right? But I do have a problem when this phone thinks that I speak it. Like, twice now have I been inside an app and been unable to work out what the heck is going on because it thinks I want to sprechen du Deutsch. Samsung Pay, unable to get it working because even after speaking with their tech support, is buggy and needs to be fixed in a software update, apparently. Assuming that one will get fixed pretty quickly. Samsung Health, all looks okay until you visit the notification section, and again, I have no clue what I'm looking at. Now, thirdly, I don't know if it's the underscreen camera or the software, but for me, Face Unlock was just not really that reliable at all. I had to use my fingerprint more than half of the time to unlock it because it just wouldn't pick up my face. Oh, and also, it doesn't work with sunglasses. Kind of a pain, but does Android not do that? Does it not work with sunglasses? 5 points to Gryffindor. Next is one I think might be specific to me perhaps, or at least the network I'm using here in the UK, but it repeatedly keeps losing phone signal, or at least having like one bar and telling me it has no connection. Flicking airplane mode like on and off seems to fix it temporarily, but I've definitely noticed that it would either have like a weaker signal or not have a signal at all in places that normally I know I'd be just fine with my iPhone. Now, I did have a carrier update whilst using this phone this week. Maybe that's something to try and fix the problem, but it made no difference for me. And actually, speaking of which, I did also have problems with Wi-Fi here at home where the phone would just drop off the Wi-Fi and then I'd have to go into the Wi-Fi settings and tap on the network and make it reconnect and it would connect again just fine. Again, it's the first time I've seen that in, well, any Android phone that I've tested so far, so that is just a bit strange. Next up, and also one specific to this phone, and also something that made me realise how much I need to use my phone one-handed, whether that's like with the kids whilst holding their hand, carrying something in from the car, whatever it is, but even though it has two great 120Hz displays, the front display is much narrower than any regular phone, and that means that the keyboard is also quite small. I am okay when typing on it, when I focus on what I'm typing, but it's very easy to make a mistake if you aren't paying attention, and generally it just feels more awkward to use for anything more than just a few quick words. Anything more than that, I guess you want to just open up the thing and type out, which isn't just always that practical. Another thing to mention, and I know this just sounds like I'm bagging on the Fold 3, but is the camera. It can and does look really great in some situations, but this photo, which I took multiple shots of, looked like it was shot on a potato. How many generations back do we need to go with phone cameras to get bad shots like these? But this was on a relatively bright afternoon, so there was like plenty of light, and I'm struggling to understand how it could have gone this wrong. And then we get on to by far the biggest issue with the Galaxy Fold 3, in my opinion, and that is the reason why it is physically impossible for me to switch this phone over my iPhone 11 Pro Max, and that is the battery life. This thing gets around 4 hours of screen time per day, which doesn't sound like much, but I'm finding myself having to charge this phone throughout the day multiple times to make sure I don't run out of battery. We're currently on my second charge of today, which is why I'm at 74%. But for me, this is, well, pretty disastrous. You know, I'm living this whole like key-free life right now, so no battery on my phone means no phone. No phone means no getting into my car because that works off an app, means no opening the garage door and getting into the house. And so for me to be constantly worried about whether I'm going to have enough battery to be locked out my car and my house, I just can't switch this phone. It is just physically not possible. It's a great feat of engineering. You know, the larger 120Hz foldable screen is incredible, but I don't think it's quite ready for this mass adoption just yet. At least not until the battery tech gets better or Android gets way better at optimizing the battery it does have, so you get that all-day battery life. Much like, speaking of which, the new Galaxy Watch 4, which I have tested, and I do really like this. And I'll have a review posted up on this channel very soon, so make sure you subscribe for that one. So for now, go fill your time in with watching me discover Android for the very first time up on this video, or go and watch this other video which YouTube thinks you should go watch. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye-bye.